What's up? It's your boy, I know Mercy, the Mad Hatter, here again with another trailer review. Surprisingly, very close to my last one. And one I really didn't expect or know about or see coming. Teenaged Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows. Like I said, didn't see this coming. I didn't even know that. Apparently, after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles last year, uh, it was greenlit to have another. Like, it made so much money, they greenlit another uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which is a little depressing considering how many people apparently liked it, because I didn't like that movie. Like, it wasn't horrible, it just wasn't that good. Like, the revised origin was really stupid. The designs of the turtles themselves was awful. The CG was good in the fact that it was well integrated. It actually looked like the turtles were there. But like I said, the design of the turtles themselves, the textures, they just looked horrible. And like it might just be me personally. I don't like the fact that the turtles just had shit tacked onto them. Like, I liked it. I liked it better if they were like more basic. Like, they didn't have a bunch of accessories and shit tacked on them. Like, it just looked really stupid. Megan Fox can act. I think that's kind of obvious by now. That girl's not a good actor, and she probably shouldn't have been April O'Neil's. Or at the very least, she should have dyed her hair red. This is the actually I think the original trilogy, April O'Neil was a brunette too. So. But, was she? I don't remember. But now we have this, and of course, one of the biggest fuck yous was the Shredder, which was awful in just about every way. You could actually tell, you can tell by looking at the movie that the dude they had playing the Shredder was supposed to be that dude. I don't remember his name. The white dude that was working with April's dad when they not made the turtles. Well, kind of made the turtles. This is what I was saying when I said that the new origin sucks. It's really hard to. April's dad was experimenting on the turtles, and somehow that experiment caused them to mutate into what they are now. I think. Like, it's been a while since I actually watched the movie, so I'm not actually sure if like what exactly caused the turtles to mutate. But whatever. Something Saxon, I think that's his name. Or Sax, something Sax, I don't know. The white dude who was working for Shredder. Yeah, you can actually kind of tell that he wasn't working for Shredder, he was the Shredder. They rewrote and reshot a bunch of shit before the movie came out because people were so pissed off that they didn't have an actual Japanese person playing Shredder. So they changed it, found someone else to be Shredder, kept his face in shadow the entire time, reshot a bunch of you can actually kind of see the points when it's clear what changes were made when. Like, but it wasn't a good movie in my opinion. A lot of people liked it, but I didn't. It was a really bad movie. It had good parts. Very few of them. April was an idiot. The footwork ninjas, which was stupid. And what's really sad is that the elevator scene, the one where when the four turtles are in the elevator and they're waiting to go up to the top of the building and face Shredder, that was the best scene in the entire movie. Which is just. But now we have this new trailer for the second movie, which is named after a video game that came out a couple years ago, which almost no one liked. Good job, Michael Bay. I'm not sure how much input he actually had in this, although I'm pretty sure he had something to do with the name. I don't know. But Michael Bay's just producing it. He's not actually directing it this time, so that's better. And I think the fact that the first Ninja Turtles was so awful is because of the director. He did Battle Los Angeles and one other shitty movie. I don't remember what it was. But apparently they got a new director for this, and it kind of shows. First of all, it actually seems fun. Like you can kind of tell that the first Ninja Turtles was trying to have fun, but somehow failed. I'm not sure how you do that. It's like they were trying to put in fun things, or things they thought would be fun, but they were just stupid. And it didn't work, and that was dumb, and they were dumb, and the turtles were dumb. I don't remember the turtles. I think that's probably the worst thing about this. The turtles left almost no impression on me. Actually, yeah, I think that's the biggest problem I have with this. The Ninja Turtles left almost no impression on me in the Ninja Turtles movie. Like, most of my memory of this movie is April and how terrible she was and how much of an idiot she was and all the stupid shit that she went through. I have very few actual memories of what the Turtles were like. I think the biggest turtle memory I have, or the longest lasting, is when Splinter was explaining the unbearably stupid way he taught ninjutsu to the turtles. Because, in the original, they have two origins with the original story. The first one was Oroku. No, not Oroku Saki. That's Splinter. Hamato Yoshi. That's it. Hamato Yoshi had a pet rat, and the pet rat would watch Hamato train in ninjutsu and would mimic his movements and learn ninjutsu from watching Hamato Yoshi. And when Hamato Yoshi moved from Japan to America, and Rokusaki showed up and killed him and his wife, Splinter sort of wandered off, found a little nest in the sewers, and then the turtles showed up, and then you showed up, and now you have the turtles. And now that he's more intelligent, the way I always figured it is that now he's more intelligent, he is able to contextualize everything that he saw as Hamato Yoshi's pet and teach it to the turtles, and that's how they became so good, because Hamato Yoshi was like one of the best ninjas in the world or something, I guess. So yeah, you watch and imitate one of the best ninjas in the world, you sort of become one of the best ninjas in the world, I guess. I don't fucking know. But it worked. It was comic booky. It really didn't make a lot of sense, but it's suspension of disbelief. It's the whole suspension of disbelief thing. You can like the mind is an odd thing. You can buy someone watching someone else and then learning how they do it, especially if you can just say that Splinter or animals in general in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe are more sapient than they are in our world, so they can understand they can understand things a lot easier than say a rat in our world could, and he actually did learn ninjutsu from watching the guy who owned him, and like it is stupid, but it's you can swallow it, I guess. Like if you can swallow four turtles and a rat defending New York from ninjas, robots, and aliens, and I think they fought demons once. I'm not entirely sure. You can buy a rat learning ninjutsu from watching his owner. Like, I'm just saying. And in the cartoon version, it was Hamato Yoshi was Splinter, which honestly I think actually makes a bit more sense. Hamato Yoshi is one of the greatest ninjas of all time. He comes to New York for whatever reason, maybe escaping Orokusaki, and for whatever reason, I think in the original 80s cartoon, he was destitute or decided to live in exile or something and lived in sewers, and he found the turtles and the mutagen that turned him into what they are, and Splinter apparently spent so much time with rats that the mutagen turned him into a rat, and that's really the only sort of flaw in that particular storyline. That it really doesn't make a lot of sense, because the thing about the mutagen, it's supposed, at least in some versions of the story, it's supposed to turn you into the last animal you touched, which is why the turtles turned into humanoid beings, and Splinter turned into a rat because he had been spending so much time with rats. But I'd imagine at least, the last thing he touched before coming in direct contact with the ooze was the turtles. So he would have turned into a turtle too, but you know what, whatever. I'm going off on a weird tangent. Fuck, I don't even remember what I was talking about earlier. Oh, okay, so the shitty new origin was the Turtles and Splinter were tests animals, and then the lab burned for April's dad, and then the lab burned down, and then they mutated, and then Splinter found a book of ninjutsu, learned it, became unbelievably proficient in it, and then taught it to the turtles. I don't know why I don't buy that as much as the original story, but I don't, because it somehow makes more sense and less sense, you know? Like in the original story, Splinter was watching a ninjutsu master practice, and that's how he learned it. And that's how he learned ninjutsu. Here, he found a book randomly, read it, learned everything he could, and then taught someone else. That, is there really any book that can turn you into a master of any martial art? I'd assume that any book that someone would just randomly throw away would be a beginner's guide to ninjutsu. You know certain forms and movements, but Splinter is supposed to be one of the best ninjas on the planet. That's his story. He, after Hamato Yoshi and after Orokusaki, like, no, even more than Orokusaki, Splinter is supposed to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest ninja on the planet. And he got that way from reading a book that he found in the sewer one day. I'm just saying. But on to better things, because honestly, this trailer was pretty good. Yeah, I kind of want to watch it. Like, and honestly, there's a lot of good things about this trailer. First of all, the designs of the turtles were modified slightly. They're more green than they were in the first movie, and a lot of the textures were sort of smoothed out, so their lips weren't as pronounced, I guess. A lot of people would call the original the designs in the first one anus lips, because that's what they kind of looked like. Their lips looked like anuses. It was really awful, and like they look like the models of the turtles themselves look significantly better, and it's like they heard all of our complaints and actually tried to make it better, which is honestly a little surprising. Like, companies are doing that more, and I'm surprised, because they don't usually. Like Blizzard and the new game they're coming out with, Overwatch, people were saying that a bunch of people were saying that they wanted more diversity in the female cast members, and they did it. Like, now you have a really buff as shit Russian chick and a cute chubby Chinese girl on Overwatch now, and both are really good looking characters. Like, and they're really good designed, and their abilities and shit are really great, and everything like that, and a bunch of different shit. Other companies are doing really great things by actually listening to their audience for a fucking change, and they're kind of doing that here, and because it's still kind of dark, but it just looks brighter, which is always a benefit, and I have a feeling Splinter's still gonna look awful. That was also another thing. Splinter's design in the first movie looked fucking horrendous. And another thing, Shredder's back, apparently, and he's actually a Japanese dude, and it's a Japanese dude with a shredder like gauntlet that spikes up, and it looks like one of the Shredder's gauntlets, so it has to be Shredder, which is baffling, because I'm pretty sure Shredder was dead at the end of the first movie, so I don't fucking know, but Shredder looks good, I guess. And Baxter Stockman's in here, and he's played by Tyler Perry, which is, I don't know. I've been a big fan of Tyler Perry, honestly. I watched his plays, some of them. They were fine, I guess. I kind of get the fact that here's the thing with Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is kind of like how do I explain this? Tyler Perry is like that guy in your family who tells everyone all of your family's dirty laundry. Like, he's just spreading that shit out. Like here's the thing. The characters that he writes in his plays and in his movies they're real. Like if you're from a black family, you have at least one Medea in your family. At least one. Probably more, but at least one. And like and you have a Mr. Brown. He might not be as cartoonish as the actual Mr. Brown from the Tyler Perry plays, but you have someone like that. Like there are people that country and that I don't want to say ignorant, but ignorant. That's like you have people like this in your family if you're from a black family. The problem is, even though we have these people, we don't like to show them the company. You know? I'm just like that's just my thing with Tyler Perry. He's putting our business out to company, and no one wants that. That's. But I don't know how he's gonna do his Baxter Stockman. Like it looks like he's gonna do the standard evil scientist, mad scientist gig, which. Hey, Tyler Perry's a good actor. I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not gonna deny that. He is a talented actor. Not the best writer. Not the best writer. I'm gonna say, but he is a good actor. So. And of course, the best thing about the trailer, Rocksteady and Bebop. We finally get a live action Rocksteady and Bebop. And they look great. They are so like they look like Rocksteady and Bebop. Well, not exactly like Rocksteady and Bebop, but they look like Rocksteady and Bebop. Like enough was changed, but they kept enough, and it looks so good. And the CG on them is so good. And Bebop is in a tank that springs up out of the water because they're in an ocean, because they're in the river, and I think they might have smashed the turtle van into a river, and then Bebop shows up in a tank, and what? Like this is what I'm saying when I have the feeling that this is going to be a much more fun movie, because the turtles are riding on debris on a river, and then out of fucking nowhere, Bebop in a tank shows up. I don't even. It's gonna be awesome. It's Bebop in a tank fighting the turtles. Like just the fact that it's Rocksteady and Bebop in this movie, and they're in this movie, and you're actually going to see live action Rocksteady and Bebop fighting the turtles. Once that alone, I am willing to watch this movie just to sedate the 5-year-old inside of me who wanted to see this. And no offense to Toka and Razor from the second Ninja Turtles movie, because they were great too. I love Toka and Razor, but they weren't Rocksteady and Bebop. Like I don't know why they decided to use two New Mutants instead of Rocksteady and fucking Bebop. I'm guessing because they weren't sure if they could make a pig and a rhino animatronic look good, because it was the mid-90s, it was the early 90s, you know. They really couldn't use CG that well. They really did have to rely almost solely on practical effects, and maybe they didn't think they could actually make a rhino, a realistic or convincing looking rhino, and boar, actually, not pig. Rocksteady's a boar. Those costumes look good, so they went with another turtle and a wolf, which, well, they already have 4 turtles, so they knew they could pull that off, and the wolf you've seen plenty of practical effects wolves before, so yeah. Um, Other things about it, I think Krang's gonna be in this, or at least the Utrom are, because they have these alien things flying through that look like they were made from Legos. So that's a thing. Um, the Foot are actually ninjas now. I think that's another thing a lot of people complained about. So they actually made the Foot fucking ninjas. And Casey Jones in this. And Casey Jones is in this. And he's played by the same dude that plays Oliver Queen in Arrow. So apparently he's getting typecast now. Like everything looks okay. You got the turtle van. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but you got the turtle van. It's shooting manhole covers, which is like they've done that a few times. It's like other than me gushing over Rocksteady and Bebop, that's pretty much all I really have to say. It doesn't look as bad as the first movie. Will Arnett is still in this as Vern Troyer, and I'm not sure why. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Will Arnett. It's just I don't know why he's in this movie again. Like, did April get her job back? I don't know. Oh, another thing. Apparently, everyone knows about them now because they're being interviewed after stopping a crime. I think like a bunch of news cameras come up to them and they start just talking to them, which is odd because they've never done that before. At least not that I've ever seen. Like I've never seen the Turtles out in daylight talking to a news camera. Like they obviously talk to April because she's a reporter, but they've never done interviews or talked to the press or anything like that. And I guess that's where they're getting the Out of the Shadows subtitle from, because they're not in shadows anymore, even though they're ninjas and no one is ever supposed to know they exist because they're fucking ninjas. Like the entire first movie is about them not having anyone know they exist, and yet everyone knows they exist now because just I don't know. So that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Out of the Shadows. Doesn't look as bad as the first one, and I'm actually willing to watch it this time because it's got Bebop and Rocksteady in it. Honestly, that's the only reason. And actually, before I watched the trailer, I actually saw Jeremy John's review of it, and he mentioned the end with Bebop and Rocksteady in the tank, showing up and shooting a shell at the TV screen looked like a game. I think it was. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure there was at least one game with Rocksteady in a tank fighting the Turtles. I don't remember which one it is. If you know, by all means, tell me in the comments. But I swear to God, there is at least one game with Rocksteady in a tank fighting the Turtles. And yeah, whatever. Okay, I know Mercy. I'll see y'all later.